everyone. Welcome to Curriculum and Instruction 2 for students with complex support needs. My name is Ty Williams, and I'll be your instructor this semester. I am so excited to have you in class. This is my favorite course to teach. And the reason it's my favorite course is because the strategies you're going to be learning in this course will be the foundation of the instructional strategies that you use throughout your teaching career. We're going to be learning about evidence-based practices, high leverage practices, research-based practices, those practices that we know make you a highly effective teacher. And when you are an effective teacher, your students acquire skills more quickly. You have more positive student outcomes. You have a bigger impact on their life outcomes as adults long term. And not only that, when your teaching is easy and effective and your students are making progress, it makes your job more fun. It makes you happier, and it'll make you want to stay in the field. And we are going to graduate you as a highly effective special education teacher, and you are the type of teacher we want to keep in the field. So this week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do an introduction to the course structure, an introduction to one another. But the course content that we're going to do cover this week is an introduction to systematic instruction for students with complex support needs. So let's just go quickly. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what we're going to be doing this week and what you can expect. So we're going to start with our opening. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to do an attention getter with you each week so that by the end of the semester, you have, at least 15 attention getters that you can use in your classroom, and we'll look at birth to 5 all the way up to secondary. And so this week, attention getter, the teacher would say slowly, ready, set, and then your students would call out focus. And as they say focus, you are scanning the classroom, making sure everyone is attending, they are engaged, and they are ready to learn. Speaking of learning, what are you going to learn this week? Well, let's look at your objectives. By the end of the week, the hope is that you'll be able to describe data collection methods, and not only that, but to use data to make database decisions. I want you to be able to tell me what systematic instruction is, what its purpose is, and how it impacts not only your teaching but student learning. I want you to be able to tell me and describe what is a response interval and why is it important to students learning and to your instruction. I want you to be able to differentiate between stimulus prompting and response prompting, but just in a general overview of what response prompting is. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into stimulus prompting this week. Not only that, you're going to identify and compare prompting hierarchies, which should be a review for you. And in fact, a lot of what we'll be doing this week should be a review for you. And then being able to identify the controlling prompt within a prompting hierarchy and for an individual student, and then telling what is a prompting hierarchy. So that's what we hope that you will learn this week. Why is this important to you? Well, you know all about database decision making, and you have to collect that data, you have to analyze that data in order to make those database decisions, so you are providing the instruction that students need where they need it. Stimulus prompting and response prompting increase the likelihood that students will have correct responses. It reduces errors, and it increases and supports their students' acquisitions of new skills. Not only that, response prompting is an evidence-based practice for our students, for students with complex support needs. So you know that when we're using evidence-based practices, we have better student outcomes. And again, not only that, when we have those better student outcomes, your job is more enjoyable. We'll do our review in class, and you'll do review throughout the video and with some of our in-class activities. And now I'm going to give you a preview after I share just a little bit more information with you. One of the things I want to share with you is how we are addressing our IDEA goals. Now, while you will assess yourself, it's a self-evaluation on your acquisition of goals this semester across all of the goals. There are 3 main goals that we target in this class. And one of them is we want you to develop a basic understanding on the content, the subject that we'll be covering in this course. Not only do I want you to have a basic understanding, now let me say a basic understanding because we don't expect you to be experts at this point, right? All right. So don't expect perfection from yourself, because I don't expect perfection from you. Neither does the university. A basic understanding. All right. Because you're still in that learning phase. Not only that, we want you not to only understand, but start to develop those skills and those competencies that'll make you a master teacher. And then not only to understand what those things are, those strategies and skills are, those competencies, but also to be able to apply those in the coursework. And some of that coursework you'll be carrying out in your practicum classroom. So this week, our data collection and analysis activities address all three of those IDEA goals, as does the group work you'll be doing on prompting strategies and the stimulus prompt partner project. And you'll get to see those in a second. So we're going to be talking about we're doing introduction to the course to each other. We're going to be playing something called Curriculum Assessment 2 Jeopardy, and that is directly related to our syllabus. So make sure you review the syllabus before you come to class, because you're going to need to know it, because you're going to play a game and you're going to be on a team. You don't want to let your teammates down. So we're going to talk about things like response interval. I already said the different types of prompting, stimulus and response prompting hierarchies, again, should be a review, and then talking about a controlling prompt. All right, so what kind of things are we going to be doing in class is our preview, so you can see. But before we do that, I want to make sure that you know in the videos, you need to watch those before class on Monday, because there are questions that are asked in those videos, and you need to submit those by 11:30 on Monday. Those are your responses. Now, your responses to the video questions, I want you to know I'm not grading those for right or wrong. That's not what it is, because I haven't taught you that content yet. You're still just learning it. But what I want you to do is I want you to give me your best response. I want you to think about it, put your effort into it. And again, as long as you are doing those activities in the videos and in class and you submit them, you will get all points for those. Okay. But you have to give it, decent quality work. Make sure you submit those by Monday at 11:30, because at the end of every participation document, I want you to write your questions at the very end. I want you to ask them and think about them as you go. If you don't understand something, write it at the end, and I'm going to review those before class on Monday so I can address them at the beginning of class. Then your in-class activities are due by 11:59 on Thursdays. Why Thursday? Well, if you don't complete it in class, I'm giving you an extra couple of days to complete them, and I also grade on Fridays. That's when I start grading, so that gives me the opportunity to get them graded, getting back to you promptly. So you will submit both of those. There will be some in-class activities that you will not submit. Now, during class, we're going to play this or that, a senior edition, but I don't want you to see the answers. So, you saw one thing. So I am going to skip that and come down here. All right, I want you to think about, before you come to class, think about one personal goal you want to address this semester, because what we want to do is we want to check in with you. We want to use that to get to know each other, and so that we can support each other on the goals we set for ourselves. So when you come up, bring one personal goal. As I said, we are going to play Curriculum and Assessment Jeopardy, and that is set up exactly like Jeopardy is set up. And I will ask you questions. You'll get to choose your categories. Now, during one of the videos this week, we're going to talk about data collection, and you're going to actually do a little bit of analysis of data, and you're going to tell me what type of database decision would you make. Now, you don't have to look at these slides now. That this is for us to use in class, but you're going to have to answer, look at the data and tell us what type of decision would you make a database decision. Now, again, we don't expect you to get it right every single time. Right now, we're going to want you to practice. We want you to practice, and that's what we're working on. And then we're going to talk about that in class. So we're going to do that for a lot of different types of data collection. And again, looking at those database decisions and what would we do if we were to discuss it collectively as a group. You're also going to work with a partner where you look at an actual data sheet from some research I did, and you are going to do some time sampling analysis of it, because this is curriculum and assessment. During one of the videos, you are going to give examples of an antecedent, a behavior, and a consequence, and then you're going to work with a peer to look over those and to just compare them and discuss them. You're also going to do a Venn diagram of comparing and contrasting stimulus and response prompting. Now, while this sounds like a lot, remember we have 3 hours to do this, and because you get all the lecture ahead of time, this will be done throughout those 3 hours that we have together. So you'll be comparing and contrasting stimulus prompting and response prompting, and also just giving some examples of direct and indirect verbal prompts. And again, this is practicing skills that you'll need as a special education teacher in the safety of our classroom. Finally, I want you to practice the different types of prompts that are found in the prompting hierarchy so that you just feel a little bit more comfortable delivering those and assessing students for those, using those different types of prompts. And then finally, you are going to work with a partner. You're going to create and apply stimulus prompts, and that will be a partner project that will be submitted for a grade, and it is worth 20 points. And we'll talk about that in class on what that looks like. All right, that's what you can expect this week. I'll see you in the next video.